A new pipeline is set to deliver natural gas to Arizona, specifically to the state's largest utilities, with the goal of meeting Arizona's ever-growing energy demands amid the state's ever-growing population. And to learn more, we welcome Danny Seiden, President and CEO of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Good to have you here. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Ted. Yeah, great. This is good news. It's good to share some good news with you right now about an exciting project that really helps us plan for the future with our economy and power.
So let's talk about this project. It's an interstate natural gas pipeline. Starts where, ends where?
Starts in West Texas, ends in Arizona, and it is about 500 miles. It's an expansion coming through New Mexico, and it's about a $5.3 billion project. Thousands of construction employees, thousands of utility workers will get work out of this, and it will result in a significant new supply of natural gas into our state. Because we don't produce, we have to have our natural gas delivered.
And there are pipelines right now. What happens to those pipelines?
Listen, those pipelines are needed for where we're at right now. Natural gas powers about 46% of our households and businesses in Arizona. This new pipeline that's going to be right in about 4 years is just helping us meet the current demand we're at right now. So again,
Holy smoke.
Yeah, everything is going to be running. Yeah.
Now, I read 9 compressor stations will be in Arizona. Yeah. What is a compressor station?
A compressor station is how that gas is processed and then put into, kind of delivered around the state. So, our utilities are going to develop those. They're going to make sure those are, because what we pay for gas and everything else is really determined by the efficiency. So these compressor stations are necessary, they're important. And if I'm in a community, I'd be welcome to have one because I know that means I'm going to get cheap, reliable energy coming into my house.
I was going to ask you about that. How does this secure Arizona's energy future?
As I stated before, 46% of our state is powered by natural gas. So for us, with the growth that we've had, we're a top 5 growth area. For us to be able to point to this pipeline and say, this is how we're going to continue to meet our demand. And again, this is another one of the many solutions. We're in all of the above state. We're still doing solar, we're still doing wind, and we're especially still doing nuclear. So that's not going away. This just adds to that. And it's financed by Transwestern, great company. It's not going to hit ratepayers anytime soon. But the fact that they're willing to invest and bring this kind of project in, it shows that we have this hot economy with manufacturing, and we need this power.
I want to get back to that, but does this come at the expense of some of those other energies?
I would argue absolutely not. This is a new investment, a private investment. Our utilities have always maintained in all the above approach. You're seeing, again, the fact that Arizona has this balanced energy portfolio where we do have the ability to take from multiple generations. I think natural gas has proven to be cheap and reliable. And right now, if you ask my members, if you ask a homeowner, they care about affordability and reliability. I'll add one more, availability now, because we're growing so fast. And natural gas answers a lot of those questions.
And I know that, back to what you referred to earlier, you mentioned that this signals to businesses, to other parts of the country, that Arizona is in business.
Absolutely. Sandra Watson, the president and CEO of the Arizona Commerce Authority, and I will be, meeting with a lot of new companies who are looking to expand or grow to Arizona. And the number one question now, Ted, it used to be labor, it used to be talent, it's now energy. Do we have the power? Is it reliable? What does it cost?
Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting.
It's changed. Okay. But we're still talking fossil fuels, and we're still talking greenhouse gas emissions. How do we get around that?
I would say, first of all, it's important to note natural gas burns a lot cleaner than people, I think, remember. The technology has evolved. The gas companies have developed 24/7 pipeline monitoring, so leaks have been significantly reduced, if at all eliminated. They use drone technology now. And the thing, again, if the technology, which we need to continue to invest in when we talk about solar and wind, we have to get our storage capacity continued to invest in. So that's the way of the future. Gas is the bridge. Natural gas is the bridge until that technology is fully developed. But we have to keep investing in all of the above.
And I know the critics will say, yes, it seems like it could be a bridge and it should be a bridge, but are you going to make a bridge? That's an expensive bridge.
I would argue natural gas is a cheap bridge. An expensive bridge would be mandating more and more clean, what they call clean energy, when in reality, nuclear is the cleanest there is. We've been doing well with solar. We have to do better with the storage side of it. People say, well, there's 300 plus sunny days in Arizona. You know what? There's 365 unsunny days at nighttime. So we have to be able to store that energy.
Okay, but again, that technology, that push, that innovation doesn't get hindered by this?
Absolutely not. We cannot lose the race to be the most innovative when it comes to energy generation, production, and storage. And I'll tell you, even in the One Big Beautiful Bill, if you look at the tax treatment coming out of Washington, D.C., a lot of the efficiency programs have actually survived more than some people thought they would. So our battery storage, our home efficiency credits, those are still around.
Okay, what about the volatility of gas prices? I mean, how much is this going to cost consumers? Because again, we got critics out there saying you ain't seen nothing yet as far as the price of this thing.
I'm amused by critics trying to guess at the future what can happen with gas prices, because what we do, what any economist will do, will look at the past. Natural gas has been cheap. Natural gas homes powered by natural gas save on average $1,100 annually more than traditional electric. Businesses that use natural gas save about $500 billion. It's cheap, it's reliable, it's being produced right here in this country, and we can transmit it relatively easy. We're going to be a net exporter of natural gas soon to Europe and elsewhere.
Timetable for this thing?
4 years, up and running. 3 years should be a lot of ribbon cuttings going on, but by 4 years, gas should be delivered, and maybe even a little bit faster with this administration.
Okay, because I got construction starts in 2028. Permits, the permitting process and all, environmental stuff needs to be taken care of?
It's all being worked out right now. I know for a fact President Trump's administration is excited about this, excited about us generating more energy to power manufacturing and power jobs here in this country. So I imagine there'll be a lot of expediting going on.
Last question before you go, and I know people in your group, your members, they're excited about this, but there are also people that watch the program, they're not, and they hear about greenhouse gas. They think about volatile prices. They think about all that. How do you put them at ease?
Again, when I put them at ease with this, go to the Corporation Commission. Those same people, when they hear what people are scared of right now, it's the cost of energy. It's, are they going to have a blackout or a brownout during a hot summer day? We want our ACs to run. We want our businesses to keep running. And natural gas, again, is the cleanest, cheapest, most reliable energy that we can use as a bridge, not counting nuclear, which, by the way, we're still developing, or hydro, or solar, or wind. We're going to do all of the above. We've always done that really well in Arizona. We're going to continue to do that.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about nuclear here in the coming months.
I'm excited,
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Thanks for the information on this, and take care.
Thanks, Ted. Yeah, thanks for having me.